What's going on, YouTube? It's James with ChiHammer Fantasy Battle Report. Got another battle report for you today. It is the road to Novi Sad, guys. So I'm including all my ESC games and pre-ESC games as the road to Novi Sad. I'm going to ETC, guys. Guys, I just got back from ETC. It is literally, I just got back like 8 hours ago or so. Got back into Chicago, and I am so excited to get you all these battle reports. I got 13 battle reports. 13 battle reports. 6 from the ETC, 5 from the ESC, and 2 practice games that I got here. This is one of those practice games. Guys, it's going to be a hell of a good time. I had a hell of a good time. It was a fun ETC. It is honestly one of my favorite ETCs. You know, I've gone for 4 years. I went to Greece, Spain, Croatia, now this one. And this has been, tournament-wise, my favorite one. Vacation-wise, I've had other favorites, but tournament-wise, this has been my favorite one, guys. So anyways, I went to Budapest. I'm just going to give you a really quick story. Went to Budapest. It was a cheaper ticket to go to Budapest than going to Serbia. So I asked Alex, who I know is a native of the area in Serbia. I said, hey, is there any easy way to get to Novi Sad from Budapest? He said, yeah, you could take a bus or a train, but why do that when you could take a bus to Belgrade and visit me? And I said, you know what? Fuck it. Why not? Let's go do this. So I went on my way from Budapest to Belgrade and hung out with Alex for 2 days. And Alex is, if you guys don't know, is the captain of Team Montenegro. And I had a fucking blast. This guy took us out. Here's a picture of me, my girlfriend, and Alex. We ended up eating a shit ton of food. I mean, a shit ton of food. And we checked out a bunch of sites. And we ended up going back to his place. And towards the end of the night, we were just like, fuck it. Want to play a game? We're like, all right, cool. So he has a shit ton of miniatures. Now, a lot of the pictures at his house came out extremely blurry, and I just think that was lighting. I think that the lighting was very dim. It was dark outside, and there was just no sunlight coming in, and the house light was just kind of mellow. So the pictures came out really blurry, but I'm just going to show you a bunch of pictures. He had some really cool models there. He had a lot of custom models that he made on his own. I've seen a lot of them on the Facebook Greenskin page. So a lot of them are really fucking cool models. But, you know, he had several different armies on display there. Anyways, let's go over my game with him. Let's go over what he has, what I have. Let's go over this game specifically. Alright, so let's go over his list first. He has, this is his ETC list. So he has 2 units of Minotaurs. These Minotaurs are, let's pop open that page really quick. I have it somewhere around here. Here we go. Montenegro. He has a Minotaur Warlord. He has a great weapon, Blessed Inscriptions, Trickster's Cunning, Crown of Horns, and Talisman of Shielding. He has a Minotaur Chieftain, BSB, great weapon, Aghor's Affliction, Greater Totem Bearer. Alright, he has a Druidism, Soothsayer, Wizard Master, Soothsayer, Shamanism, Apprentice, 15 Wild Horns, 15 Wild Horns, 15 Wild Horns with throwing weapons, 15 Wild Horns with throwing weapons, that ambush, both of those ambush, 17 Wild Horns, 8 Minotaurs, 8 Minnows. They have the Black Wing Totems, both of them. One of them has the Flaming Banner, one does not. And then 2 units of Gargoyles. Alright, and there's a couple pictures. Like I said, these pictures came out really blurry. There's a picture of his 2 characters with a unit of Wild Horns. Some of them look like extra models, but they're just basically unit fillers. And there's the picture in the middle with the guy with the giant like rose staff. That's his Druidism wizard. Gargoyles are just owls. He has these owl miniatures that are pretty cool. And yeah, that's how it looks. Let's go over my side. Now this is actually just pictures from ETC showing off my army. I got my K-Pack. K-Pack is obviously what I just said. It's the fucking K-Pack. But it's 3 Goblin Wolf Chariots. They're fast as hell. Pack a punch. Over here I got my Feral Orc. Ed Batcher's got a bolt thrower called the Chukka. I got Dread's Iron Legion. Dread's Iron Legion is 23 Iron Orcs with Mykonos Totem and Warboss Dread on foot. It used to be Warboss Rocksteady. I know Phil Carl keeps up with that, but that's the only person who remembers it. So we're just going to keep on going with Dread. It's Dread on foot. He's basically rocking paired weapons with the Touch of Greatness, and he is very great with that Touch of Greatness. I got 27 Squigs. Nasher Herd. Got 20 Goblins with Bows in the back there. As you can see right here, this is my favorite unit. This is the frickin' Bazookas Commandos. And Bazookas Commandos are basically 24 Goblins with throwing weapons, bows, Banner of Discipline, Relentless Banner, and Backshot of Pyromaniac. I can't ask for anything better. Actually, I can ask for something better. I wish I could have some Ether Icons in there, or some magical heirloom, or not heirlooms, orb, whatever it's called, the onyx thing. Now got my unit of dogs here, and guys, look at this. Not only do I have the Chicken Rock, I got the fat bastard Koopa, you fat bastard on the Chicken Rock. Quick side story. I was packing the model away. I was talking to Phil Carl on Skype, and on Skype, Phil Carl says, "James, do me a favor and put Koopa on the fucking Chicken Rock." And I said, "Only if I magnetize his feet will it work." You know what? Let me go into my glass case. Let me pull off Koopa and see how easy or how much glue did I use to put his fat ass on that fucking spider. And right when I just touched it with my finger. Just touched it and he fell off. And I was like, oh, that's a sign. I gotta put him on the Chicken Rock. I didn't even have to try, guys. I literally just touched him and it was like, bloop, fell off. Alright, let's go over. We already went over his list. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say this, guys, as a statement on all these videos that I'm putting for ETC and ESC. I haven't gone through them all yet, okay? But what I have gone through, I've noticed there's some lack of photos. Now, either A, there's a lack of photos because of because I was talking to my opponent and I might have forgot to take a photo, or B, this is something I've noticed is I'm taking photos and they're not saving onto the phone. And again, this is why I need a new camera, and which is going to be a more pressing priority this year. I think this year I really need to get that camera just so this issue won't happen anymore. But I think it's a mixture of both. I think I've been taking the pictures, not all the pictures save, and then I also have a feeling that sometimes I'm not taking the pictures at all. Anyways, this is how I deployed. I take first turn. So he goes ahead and he drops. He counter drops. Now, we're playing flag scenario because both of us are playing flags in ETC, so we wanted some practice on flags. So because we're playing flag scenario, he decided not to ambush. He was afraid that if he ambushed that his units would not come out in time. And he decided that there's really a lack of things to ambush against me, which, in all fairness, there kind of is. Because my units are so mobile. I don't care if he kills the war machines. I really don't care. But as you can see, honestly, I have 3 of these 13 games are against Beast Herd, so you'll see what I mean by that. Anyways, as you can see over here, I put my dogs on the far left. I think we're playing marching columns. That's why I started that way. Then I decided to drop the squigs, then the goblins, then I dropped everything. So I have the savages and the blackworks on the left side of the rock. I have the K-Pack basically watching either side of the rock because I didn't know how he was going to deploy. If he deployed the Minotaurs on the right side, I want the K-Pack to go on the right side. If he deployed the Minotaurs on the left side, I just dropped the K-Pack to the left side. Got my other bolt thrower, then I got Bazooka and the Commandos going up into the forest. So the same thing with the Space Rock with Koopa. Bazooka and Koopa. Okay. And basically there's that gap between the rock and the house. I'm just avoiding that, more or less, or not avoiding that. I don't want him going through that. So basically I put those there to block the gap, and I want him to funnel him to the left side, more or less, around the rock. That's where all my hordes are. Let's go into turn 1. Orcs and Goblins. Orcs and Goblins, turn 1. I go ahead and I move up super aggressively on the right side. I put the K-Pack right by the rock. Nobody's going to get charged. Everybody's out of charge range. I really don't give a fuck. He doesn't really have shooting. He does have throwing weapons on some of those units, but they're too far out of the way. And he has no magic missile because he took Druidism. He has a Master of Druidism and 1 spell of Shamanism. Maybe 2. So basically, I did put my Chukka on the right side in a bad spot. The Chukka on the left side, I really don't give a fuck if he wants to go for that. We're going to see how that goes. Magic! Turn 1 magic. I got a 5 on the flux. Go ahead and I do a fireball trying to kill some gargoyles. I end up killing a gargoyle or 2. He doesn't really care. Go ahead and I drop a pyroclastic flow and he stops it, right? So I'm like, yes, I got a bunch of dice. I'm going to go ahead and throw out a Scorching Salvo. Well, guess what? I fucking throw 3 dice on the Scorching Salvo and I fail it. Alrighty then. So I go ahead and I do a Flaming Swords with 2 dice, get it off, and end up using the Magic Missile to try to kill off the last of the gargoyles. There's 1 gargoyle remaining, which that really sucks, because that 1 gargoyle is going to get in my way. It's going to start off turn 1 Beast Herds. Turn 1 Beast Herds, like I said, I have a lack of photos. He just moves up, and not only does he move up, he puts his damn gargoyle in my way of my K-Pack. That allows him to move the Minotaurs up without any fear of getting hit with the K-Pack. And basically that's how it is. I don't have any pictures of his movement phase. I don't have any pictures of his magic. I don't know why. But it's going to start off my turn. Orcs and Goblins turn 2. Orcs and Goblins turn 2. I'm going to charge into that damn owl. I'm going to charge the squigs on the left to the unit on the far left. I figure if I can get into that unit of the wild horns on the far left, I should be able to break them, get into the flank, and then he has to worry about squigs on the flank. The problem is I failed this charge, even with the reroll on the hill. It wasn't a bad charge. It was probably like a 9 or a 10, but I just failed it outright. As you can see, basically, I ended up using this as an opportunity to move up the Koopa on the right side. Koopa just went way up on the right side, marched through that fucking gap, didn't give a flying fuck over ambushers. What are these ambushers going to do to me? Right? Or not ambushers, I'm sorry, Wildhorn. What are these Wildhorn going to do to me? I kept the K-Pack behind the rock. I used my dogs as chaff, and basically what I ended up doing was just putting them in the way of the Minotaurs. He has to close the door either way, so he's going to run crooked and allow my Savages and my Black Orcs to get in, or my K-Pack to get in. Problem is, he still has another unit of Gargoyles. We'll see how that goes. Over here, Magic, I end up doing a fireball into his freaking wild horns, killing off a couple of them, 3 of them to be exact. Go ahead and I do a Scorching Salvo, and boom! Holy shit! I killed 7 of his wild horns. Now these are out of multiple units, so I killed 7 wild horns together. I've done a couple wounds to each Minotaur unit, and basically that's how it goes. Shooting, I don't think I did too much. If so, I don't have a picture for it. Turn 2, Beast Herds. Beast Herds, turn 2. He's going to charge into my dogs with the wild horns on the left side, which is great. He did pass both his frenzy checks. And he goes in like so. He doesn't want to charge into the spider. He ends up setting up this giant, like, what is that called? Like, double fleet trap? Excuse me. He sets up this double fleet trap on the right with Koopa. Basically, if I charge the 1 unit and he tears and flees, he's going to run through his other Wildhorn unit, and then I charge that one, he's going to flee through them both. And basically, Koopa keeps on getting chaffed by multiple fleas. Which doesn't really bother me. It allows Baxter and or Bazooka's commandos to just kind of go up and start shooting everything in the flank, especially with Pyro. Not sure what happened with the Wildhorns on the left. I think they actually turned around and walked away. I don't think they're not fleeing. They just turned around and walked away. I'm not entirely sure why, unless he did flee from that charge. But basically that's how the table looks. Magic, he got 2 on the flux. Don't know what he did with Magic. I don't think he had cards. Did he have cards for Magic? I'm not sure. But he goes in and he kills he only kills 2 dogs. Causes me to flee. I run, and I run through the rock. I think I lose 1 more dog, and he fails to restrain, so he does chase, and he ends up like this, where he's basically in the way of his own Minotaur unit. Now, I told him after this happened, you know what, I think this is why there was a lack of pictures, because his friend Bogdan showed up, and Bogdan is another person from Team Montenegro, so we were talking a lot, but when Bogdan showed up, I told him right here that basically, I'll go back to this picture here, because it's more clear and easier to look at, but that unit of Wild Horns is going to overrun, right? But they stop an inch from his other unit that wasn't engaged in combat. Now his Minotaur, since he broke the 1 inch rule when he charged in on the left, he could still technically be within that 1 inch until he gets out of the 1 inch. But the unit on the right was never in the 1 inch to begin with, so he has to stop an inch before instead of running right in front of them. My dogs, on the other hand, they go right through the rock, pop out the other side, and basically he's stuck right there. It's going to start off turn 3, Orcs and Goblins. And guys, I'm giving you a 5-second warning on a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wog! I'm going to wog. I'm going to charge my savages into his Wild Horns. Now, it was so tempting to charge the Squigs, but I had a feeling he was going to flee. And he does. He flees through his Minotaurs. Now, I was hoping he didn't, obviously, and anybody would hope he didn't, because I could charge flank, destroy these freaking Wild Horns, overrun into his Minotaurs. But he flees. If I did it with my Squigs first, what ended up happening was I would have failed the redirect on a Leadership 5. So that's why I didn't do that. But I went in with the Savages. Go in with Koopa. I go charge, and he does the double flee. So Koopa's going to stubble forward, like I said. Alright. I charge the Black Orcs into... No, I don't charge Black Orcs in. I charge the Squigs into the Minotaurs, like I was hoping, and I actually redirected the Savages into the Minotaurs on the right, like I was hoping. Savages failed it. I needed a 9. I failed it. Squigs got in. Boom, like so. Now, the Squigs, in all fairness, are a very disposable unit for me, so I really don't care if they flee or they blow up. I care if they do damage before they blow up, which they are. Hopefully they really, really do. Alright, Magic got a 3 on the Flux. Go ahead and do a Scorching Salvo. Kills off a bunch of guys. Again, I don't have pictures of how many guys I killed. Over here, Squigs go nuts. They end up killing off 4 of his Minotaurs. His Minotaurs go back and blow the crap out of my Squigs. I mean, he got battle focus. He was hitting me on a easy number. I think he's hitting me on 3s, wounding me on 2s, and he just punked my unit. Blew him up. Oh well. Let's go into turn 3. Beasters. Beasters turn 3. He's going to do a double charge here. Oh my god, this is going to hurt. This is going to hurt. He's going to double charge in. He gets in with both. Boom! Like so. Now, hopefully the unit on the left doesn't have enough bodies to matter, and I don't think it does. Magic got a 8 on the Flux, and it looks like he regrew some of his Minotaurs into this unit. I believe I had to stop Stone Skin, and he ends up getting regen off on the unit on the right. I do remember that. Impact hits, kills 2 Savages, but then after his swings, he ends up killing off a lot more than 2. My Savages go back, and they end up wiping out 4 of his Minotaurs, which leaves him with just these 2 guys remaining, and I end up sticking on a Steadfast, which is just like, woo-wee! That was lucky. As for the Black Orcs, they're not so lucky. They get punked nasty. I barely do any wounds back. As you can see, that unit's pretty damn healthy. I'm about to lose my general to his general. That is ugly. And it's going to start off Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Orcs and Goblins turn 4. Koopa! You fat fuck. He keeps charging these guys. Now, some of them did not rally. Some of them end up running off the table. But I'm going to keep double charging all these fuckers. And I keep Baxter and Bazooka, Bazooka close by, so I'm able to make these rerollable 8s, redirects, and he just keeps on losing the units. Now, what ends up happening is one of these units, the unit I want is the one that's in the forest right now, and that's the one I want to get to, but he keeps on keeping me chaff with all his units. Over here, as you can see in combat, my Savages lose combat. I end up killing the last Minotaur. I end up doing 2 wounds onto the BSB, but he ends up just winning combat outright, and he causes the Savages to run, and this is one of his issues. He declares not to chase. Now, as you can see in the photo as well, my Black Orcs ran from his Minotaurs, But I believe that happened on his turn, and again, he declared not to chase. He decided to turn towards my goblins. I was able to use the dogs that rallied to get in the way of his Minotaur unit, and that's basically what's going to end up happening. It's going to start off his turn 4. His turn 4. Oh wait, where the fuck are the pictures? Or is this mine? See, this is what I'm talking about. I don't know where the hell all the pictures are. There's a whole phase missing. He decides to charge the dogs. He won't be able to get into my goblins. I don't know where the rest of the pictures are though. He decides to charge my savages, and when he does, my savages run to the table edge, but they don't fall off the table edge. I am really close to falling off the table edge, but I don't. And then he separates his wizard from the unit in the forest, basically in case my spider comes around, also to give himself some buffs and heal up his BSB. It's going to start off my turn 5, I want to say. Turn 4 or 5. Koopa over here charges into one of his wizards that he uses chaff. His other units, everything fled off the table at this moment. Everything either ran off the table or just kept running to the left because he started failing all his leadership checks. I charge this guy, he flees, and his other guy's in the middle of the table now by himself. Magic got a 1 on the flux. Go ahead and do a pyro flow onto his BSB. It does a wound. Over here I do a spear chucker into his shaman that separated from the table. What ended up happening in this picture here, I'm going to go back to this picture with Koopa, is I charged his shaman that walked out of the unit, and he decided he didn't realize that Koopa could see him, so he flees, and he ends up fleeing really close to the bolt thrower. So when I shot him with the bolt thrower, it was close range on a hill, no penalties. I hit him with a 4, wounded him with like a 2, and just killed him with D3 wounds. And that is a big win for me. What ends up happening here with the BSB is the BSB failed to get to the savages. Savages stayed on the table. They rallied, and the black orcs rallied as well, so I didn't lose any scoring units. I got the objective. I was able to chaff him so his minotaurs couldn't go anywhere, couldn't charge into my goblins, and my goblins were still alive. My general, I believe, was dead. In the K-Pack, I just walked back out of range of everything, and I was just able to claim the objective. All his stuff ran off the table on the top side, which was at least like 800 points. It was 4 units of wild horns. Let's see. I gave Koopa credit for 3 only. I needed a 4th one. Let's see. So 170. Yeah, 780 points that he took just taking the units above, and he didn't even have to fight. He just charged and they kept on fleeing and all that stuff. And then not only that, but he took the extra unit of gargoyles as well. I feel like there's a lot of pictures missing from this game, unfortunately. I don't understand why. I thought I took plenty of pictures. We'll see in the future games if it's an issue or not, but I don't think it was. I was really trying to be aware of that because I knew that it wasn't saving. Let's see. Alright, so yeah, so basically that won me the objective, is Koopa clearing off all the units up top. Savages ended up killing off the last of the Minotaurs, so I ended up taking the objective pretty big. I ended up taking like 5 scoring units. He took maybe 1, and ended up being a 14-6 win. He was thinking about it. He said one of the things he could have done was charged, overran towards the savages and got them earlier on. Same thing with the black orcs, because he never was going to get the units on the right side. The right side I was just going to use my banner of relentless and just get the hell out of the way and keep the chariots zoning him. So overall, and I didn't want to charge the chariots in because he kept on putting up a 4+ regen or a 5+ regen on his unit of minotaurs. There was just no point of me charging in. I would just lose my unit of chariots. Overall, I think that it was a good test game against beast herds. I feel like Koopa was terrorizing him. I mean, Koopa was just such a thing that he could not deal with unless he put the minotaurs on them. And as you can see, the minotaurs just weren't on Koopa. I didn't have to fight him. I could just walk around him all day. So basically that's how it ended. We ended up going to another venue. It's called Hydra, which you can see in one of the videos. I ended up getting a game against another member of Team Montenegro, Mr. Bogdan. I don't have a picture of Bogdan. I actually looked. I don't have a picture of Bogdan, but here's a picture of us getting ready for the game. And guys, like I said, I'm just excited to get these battles out to you guys. And until next time, MVP here is actually, I would have to say Koopa. Koopa, you fat fuck. Second up is actually Baxter the Pyromaniac. He got a good 510 points, probably more if I could see all the damn pictures. Bazooka's unit 2 probably got more points, but again, I'm not seeing all the pictures of how many wounds I'm doing in shooting. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get into, I'll show you some future teaser pictures if I have some. That was Bogdan's game. I got a game against, apparently I don't have pictures for you yet. Next time. Sorry guys. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this game. I enjoyed making it. I have a scroll here. The numbers in parentheses is going to be a total running for every game. So basically you can see in the long run how many points each unit pulled in. The numbers are sometimes incorrect. Like right now I'm missing a lot of pictures, so I don't know all the points that I'm pulling in or not. And there was a lot of units that ran off the table that I don't know who caused the original panic. Was the terror units? Was it him fleeing from a charge? Or what? But basically, like I said, the end score was 14-6. We talked about how it could have been potentially a 10-10 if he would have went for the objective earlier, but yeah, anyways, alright guys, till next time, that's all I got to say today, so take care and peace.